well, I don't know how recent, but you were on the Jetpolitics podcast, and you talked about dropping out of college, which, like, the first thing I heard, I was just like, what? Indian person like, dropped out of college? How did your parents not kill you?
Yeah.
So how did you navigate that minefield? Did you have any negative consequences you faced?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it was anyone dropping out of school, any Asian family. It's like, don't do that. You're an ultimate failure. So the thing is, I was probably destined to drop out of school since I started, because I optimized my life to go sell e-commerce parts and have fun, because I would be hanging out with the groups to sell the parts to. Two, I would optimize my schedule, my college schedule, to go snowboarding in the mornings. In the winter, I would literally take night classes so I can go snowboarding during the day. And in the summers, I would take the afternoon off so I can go surfing. It's like, this is not gonna work out. Like, that's not how life is. But I was like, no consequences, just keep going. 2 years into school, I was like, crap, I don't have really good grades. I don't think, like, I went to community college, so I already had a leg down because I had to transfer to regular school, like a 4-year college, and then graduate. So I had to even make the grades to transfer. And so what happened is I didn't make the grades to transfer. And so I was either repeating classes to get my grades up in the same classes and taking another year, or taking a break and trying to cross my fingers and applying again. Doing it again sucks. Let me see if I can convince my parents to let me take a year off. And it wasn't like I'm gonna know nothing. I was doing SEO, I was doing stuff on the side. And so I like convinced them, saying like, I'll get a job for a year, I'm gonna put a pin in college. In my mind, I had no intention of
There was no pin.
There was no pin. It was like I'm done with this thing, screw college. That year of having a job and not being in school was really, really tough, because my dad's like, what are you doing? This is not a career. Like, this, because SEO and internet marketing wasn't a thing. It's not a reputable thing. Now it's like, oh, you work on the internet, cool. But before it was just like, what do you do? My parents are like hounding me. At the time, I actually proposed to my wife 2 weeks into dating. When I proposed, I was like 19 or 20. She was like an engineer, so she had all the hard classes or whatever, but like I realized by hanging out with her, like she didn't tell me to do anything, but just like osmosis of being next to her, I was like, wow, this is what school is like, you gotta work this hard. And so I kind of learned to work hard. And before that, I was really lazy. And so I had her parents to deal with. I had two families saying, like, two Indian families were like, you better go back to school. Like her parents were pretty chill. They were just kind of laid back people, but they were in the back of their minds like, this guy needs to do something. Even though I proposed and they were engaged, like, she's like, what's this guy gonna do in life? Like, no one really had faith in me. To me, that was actually motivation. I was like, I'm gonna go work harder and push myself to do it, because I've learned what hard work truly is, and it's not surfing and snowboarding during the day. That's not real life. When I dropped out of school, I think in 2005 to 2007, I went from an entry-level employee to making 6 figures as a manager, or like a project lead or something like that. So in that 3 years, I proved everybody wrong. When people started realizing that this is a real industry.
I think it takes guts to, be okay with that decision of like, I'm gonna drop out of school and I know why I'm doing it. Because a lot of times you just feel like, oh my god, I'm a failure, and that's why I just like caved to some sort of pressure or whatever.
So it sounds amazing when you tell the story after you've lived it. I didn't know really the next steps and all of the clarity that I have now, obviously after I've done this. So to me, I was like, I just want to prove people wrong. So I was like, I have my back against the wall. I'm about to marry somebody at some point in the near future. I've got 2 sets of parents barking at me to do something. And my dad was saying something like, you're going to be a Taco Bell employee your whole life. I'm like, that's not that bad. I love Taco Bell. That's what I said in my mind. This was me at 20. I learned I really work well under pressure.
So what if some like kid came to you and said, hey, I'm going to drop out of school? Like, what would you tell them? Like, this is how you convince your parents.
I would not recommend anybody drop out of school, because I think everything after that, I had to work harder for it. But I think because I knew I had to work harder, I was already doing that, right? And I was already working hard. So like every job, like an entry-level employee to a manager, and like every job, like, what's your degree? I'm like, I don't have one. But what I have instead is, while I was in school, I was working nights and weekends. And I wasn't working at Taco Bell. I was working on what you're hiring me for. So I've got more skills than everyone else, because I just started early. And so I I'm a marketer. I spin the angle I could use it and get away with. The people who say they want to drop out of school are usually dropping out for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
They're just lazy and don't want to do it. And that was me too. But
you had that motivation, right?
I had a bit of motivation. I had the luck of the industry being at the right time, and I found out that I work well under pressure. You probably don't want to find out that at that time, so it's a really bad way to go about solving it. And like, I think maybe 1 in 5 people actually make it out this way. I was one of those 5 people. What I would actually recommend is, while in school, nights and weekends, don't get a job. Go get an internship. Go learn the code. If you want to like build a software company, go do that right now. It's in 2017. There's enough free education, enough smart people that have written about stuff that you can read a blog post, watch a YouTube video, go to Khan Academy, Code Academy, anything, and learn to do everything. So don't drop out. Figure out how to do it, and then put a pin in it.
Yeah.